Hello ARFCOM family, thank you for tuning in. Boy, have I got a project I am excited to bring to you. This has been my most fun project to work with all year. It's the Henry X model in 4570, the only government that I trust. Henry has brought the lever action into the 21st century by adding many features to this rifle that allows it to accept so many common accessories for your AR style rifle. I know I have AR style rifles, but of course they may or may not be at the bottom of a lake right now, as with some of yours. Of course, we're going to take a good look at this rifle. I've got several clips of me shooting it. We're going to do all that after a word from our sponsor. Well, I know, don't look at me like that. Look at me like this with your brand new night vision from TNVC. They are responsible for bringing you today's content, so go visit them at tnvc.com. So now, let's look at this rifle and see what makes it so special. All right, so I've got this thing mounted up in the Bog Death Grip shooting tripod. I have thoroughly enjoyed this for a few months. It has worked well with every host that I've had it in. Of course, I've got the rifle clamped in here so I can show you from one end to the other the accessories that they've added to this to differentiate this from your granddad's rifle. Now, I've got nothing wrong with a traditional style lever action. I love shooting them as well. But like I said, Henry has brought this into the 21st century by adding so many different features. The first being this side loading gate that Henry had shied away from for so long. The side loading gate is what actually brought me to this model, amongst other things. The biggest thing is this threaded barrel. They've threaded it 5/8 24. Right now I have got the Ranger Point Precision Comet muzzle brake on here. This Comet muzzle brake actually does slow the rifle down a little bit. The 4570 still thumps you, but the brake, you get a stiff breeze to the face and it slows the rifle down. Of course, when this isn't on here, I have got the Silencer Co. Hybrid 46. The Silencer Co. Hybrid 46 will handle the 4570 and it actually does it really well. Of course, I hand load for it too, so I've been loading some heavy subsonics just right under the speed of sound, and you can see how incredibly quiet they are in this clip here. Boy, it's neat slinging big lead at slow velocities. That was 100 yards. So you get about 1/3 of a second for the bullet to get there and a little less of 1/3 of a second for the sound to come back. So there's quite a bit of a delay from the time that the hammer drops till the time that the sound hits your ear, and it's pretty neat. It's a really fun plinking load that I have thoroughly enjoyed. I've placed 11.8 grains of Trail Boss under a 405 grain lead bullet, and it just proves to be a lot of fun. When you take it to events, it just blows people's mind. They can't believe how quiet it is. So now the fact that it's a lever action makes it an ideal suppressor host. This 4570, I do venture to say, I've got it down equally as quiet as a 300 Blackout. And of course, most of your 300 Blackouts are a semi-auto. The fact that this is a manual action, it stays quieter because you don't get that click-clack of the bolt. So now as for the elephant in the room, this Vortex Strike Eagle 1/6x24 is not going to stay on here for forever. What I wanted to do is experiment with this and try it and see how I liked it before I spent money on another optic. Ultimately, probably what I'm going to do is wind up with a 1/8 version. I really like how low this sits. That was one of the things that I wanted to do, is keep the optic very low, and we'll go over the mounting system here shortly. But I wanted to keep it very low because this pistol grip brings your comb down, and keeping a cheek weld to look through the eyepiece was very important to me. So I have managed to keep this very low. The fact that it's a 1/6x24, we don't have the big objective, and we don't have to bring the optic up to get that big objective to clear the barrel. So I've got this thing sitting really low. But this rail, what this is the XS Sights Marlin lever rail. And I know you're saying, well, Pat, that's a Marlin rail. You got it on a Henry. Yes. What I noticed was in the Weaver catalog, the Weaver 63B fit both the Marlin and the Henry. And that told me that they were both tapped and threaded the same. So I contacted Excess and I said, you know, I really would like to try this rail on a Henry. They came back and they said there is no guarantee that it'll fit or regulate, but we'll send it to you and let you try it. So I managed to get it to fit. I did send Excess the email. I said, hey, look guys, we are a third of the way there. Your R&D department is so close. All they have to do is develop the rest of the kit. So hopefully we see that sometime in the future. I'm not saying to harass them, but you might send them an email to say that you're interested in the kit, because this absolutely works. To round it out, I've used a set of worn scope mounts. These are 30mm low, and that drops it right down. And to your eye, it may look as though I can't turn the magnification ring, and I actually can. It clears by just a little bit. You could barely see daylight under it. So I get all of my 1 through 6 here, and of course the fact that this is a BDC reticle, what I've done with that BDC reticle is right in the center, I have centered it for my pet load. My pet load is a pretty heavy load, and that is where I've got that zeroed. As for the subtensions in that BDC, I'm using that for my subsonic loads because there is an ultimate drop of about 12 inches at 100 yards with my subsonic loads. So like I said, I'm using the subtensions underneath it to maintain multiple zeros across multiple loads. Now as for this furniture, they have blacked this thing out. Boy, it looks so sweet. We've got an M-lock section right here on the front. We've got a Picatinny right underneath. And of course, they have put swivel studs for your favorite sling. So now the action is slick. It has worked in very nicely with use. I've got a hammer spur on here, of course, for allowing the hammer to drop underneath the scope there. And the trigger, I love the trigger. Having had my hands on a few levers, I found some really crunchy, cruddy triggers. This one pulls at a little less than 4 pounds. Right out of the box, untouched, no springs, no nothing. 4 pounds, and this thing is rocking and rolling. Now going back to the Springfield trapdoor that this 4570 was chambered in, way back in the day, their minimum acceptable accuracy was 4 inches at 100 yards. That's pretty lenient. Now with this one, regardless of what load I'm using, I'm fitting everything within about 2.5 inches. So that's the bottom of a beer can. So you could say that this thing is minute of Coors Light. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this thing. It is a solid built piece of equipment. Henry's done an excellent job. I love the finish. Now the fit, it could be a little better, especially back here by the tang and other things like that, but I'll forgive it because the rifle is just so much fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please consider subscribing. Of course, smash that thumbs up. Leave us an awesome comment to help with engagement. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I love you.